Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, Inside the Insider Threat, Why Traditional DLP is No Longer Enough in 2026. And I welcome you all, and thank you for taking time to join us. And today we discuss insider threat and why in 2026, traditional DLP alone is no longer enough. When organizations think about cybersecurity, they often focus on external attackers. Think about cybersecurity. They often focus on external cyber criminals and hackers and ransomware groups and sophisticated, criminals. Yet many of today's most damaging incidents begin with something much more difficult to detect, and it is mostly related to trusted users and compromised accounts and insider activity. So today, we will explore why insider risk has become one of the most important cybersecurity challenges facing organizations, and why traditional approaches to data loss prevention are no longer enough on their own. This webinar is basically a collaboration between Cymex Technologies and our proud partner Scoped. And joining me today are Ekaterina Linova, who is Sales Director at Scoped, and Mr. Fahad Khan, who is IT Director from Cymex Technologies. I welcome you both, and I welcome you to take time out and give us your valuable time to basically conduct this webinar. I would like Mr. Fahad and Ms. Kate to basically introduce yourself, and then we can start the formal session. So starting with Mr. Fahad, good day.
Good day, Saman. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my name is Fahad Khan. I'm currently heading the IT department here at Cymex. I have worked all over the globally, basically with multiple companies, including Fortune 500 companies such as Swisscom, AT&T, and cybersecurity is one of the domains that we have faced a lot of challenges in, and
Yes.
we'll be discussing this in detail during this session. Thanks, Saman.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Moving forward, Ms. Kate, are you here?
Yes.
So for our users and our audience, I call Ms. Ekaterina Kate. It's her nick.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kate. Once again, thanks for joining us today. And please introduce yourself, and then we can start with a question.
Thank you so much, Saman, for our co-host, and Cymex Technology for bringing the right audience and the local perspective. So I am a sales director of Scoped. We are a global vendor which is provide a user activity monitoring platform, and we combine DLP, SIEM, and biometric authentication into one solution. And actually today we will discuss insider threat and why in 2026 traditional DLP alone is no longer enough.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kate, and thanks, Mr. Fahad. So I would like to start with Mr. Fahad from IT perspective. What are the new challenges with respect to insider threat?
Thank you, Saman. So from the IT leadership perspective, insider threat it has become really challenging in the past few years, because considering that the office premises have changed, basically now that the remote options have been available in the past decade or so. So the office premises is no longer a secure environment where all your employees work from. They are now spread out all globally and all over the world. That is why this is a new emerging threat. It was always there, but previously basically we had traditional enforcements available because we had a controlled environment. The perimeter was secure. You could enforce rules where the data could not be taken out or anything. But now, now due to the changes in the global working environments, where basically
Yes,
people
yes.
can be
True.
the company could be spread out globally. Basically,
Mm.
anyone could be working anywhere.
Mm.
So this has become a challenge basically,
Yes.
and the challenge is basically these users or these employees that are working basically outside a secure perimeter or everywhere, they have the access to all the sensitive information because they have to have the access because they are your employees. They already
Mm.
have the credentials to access the
Yes.
sensitive information, and they already know where the sensitive information exists. Okay,
Yes.
and
Mm.
the question no longer is
Mm.
can they access the data?
Mm.
The question now is, are they using it appropriately?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes. True.
So, what makes insider threat dangerous is that basically these events do not happen instantly. Maybe someone basically tries to copy a lot of
Mm.
data on the last day of his job. This is no longer the case. Now, what happens
Mm.
is these events happen basically gradually. Someone
Mm.
is copying basically your proprietary information slowly and easily, basically bit by bit every day,
Yes.
and the so basically
It is pre-planned.
it's pre-planned, or basically it does not happen but it's not a sudden change. It's basically a
Yes.
behavior that's basically developing over a period of time, basically.
Mm.
So the employee behavior has become really important to understand what sort of a behavior is
Mm.
the particular basically user shows.
Mm.
So this could be the behavior could be patterns, could be unusual access patterns. There could be unusual access patterns. There could be repeated copying,
Mm.
or cloud sharing, or sending certain information over his personal email addresses, things like that. So
Mm.
this is why now now organizations one the working environment is changing, and this is why now organizations are realizing
Mm.
the importance. As you
Mm.
know, basically data is the new oil now. So every
Yes.
organization's data is the most important thing that or most important asset that they have. So now
Mm.
organizations are realizing how the importance of basically securing their information, and insider threat has is one of the major data leaks reason, basically, because
Mm.
these people have all the access and they have the keys to the castle. No? So that is
Mm.
one of the major areas where
And this.
organizations are looking to
Mm.
secure
Mm.
the flow of information outside the organization.
And yes, with the events, Kate, we participate in events happening internationally and national at national level. So this is the rising concern of the organizations these days, and we have
Mm,
been, getting the positive response regarding our cybersecurity products and solutions, and
mm, mm,
organizations and departments, cybersecurity consultants, they are very much concerned about these threats, the insider threats.
mm.
So thank you so much, Mr. Fahad. Thanks for the valuable addition to our discussion. And with that, I would like to take the next question to Kate, if she could share how Scope addresses this real world challenge. And on this note, Kate, the stage is yours, and you basically have to present the Scope and its features. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Able to see my screen and presentation?
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
share
I
my
can.
screen. Okay,
Yes,
thank you so much. It was nice.
thank you.
So let me please start with warm up in chat. I just would like our participants to ask about the question. So do you already have a DLP solution in place? Yes or no? Please use chat and let us know if you have DLP in your company. The reason I asking, so the lost insider incidents start with legitimate access. The gap is context. who, why, and what changed before the incident. Please let us know if you have on
Yes,
in your company.
we are receiving positive, I would say, yes, they are all saying yes so
It's
far.
good to know because it's a good
Yes.
start.
We have
At least
received
DLP
around
cybersecurity.
7 to 8 comments in chat, and they are
Okay.
saying yes.
Okay, that's great. So in 2026, the perimeter is not just USB or email, so it's not enough. We see cloud drives and collaboration tools, remote sessions, and slow harvesting over weeks. And we also see screenshots and photo leaks, especially when sensitive data is displayed on screen. This is very important. And many cases are blended. Insider activities plus compromised credentials. It's we notice it's also I would say it's a pain. So a single blocked transfer is not the whole story anymore. To handle this reality, we first need to define what insider threat really is. So insider threat, it's not one scenario. First, it's malicious insider and intentional misuse. The second is negligent insider mistakes. It's just we're human being, and it could be that cause leakage. And the third, it's compromised insider or stolen credentials or coercion. The traditional DLP focused on the final action, but risk often appears early in behavior and identity signals. That's why we say DLP is necessary, but not sufficient in 2026. So why traditional DLP misses the full story? The traditional DLP is designed to control data movement. It can detect the final action, a copy, an upload, a print, but insider risk is usually a chain. Behavior changes, data preparation, unusual access patterns, and DLP rarely answers all these questions. Who was behind the screen and what changed before? Can we prove it? Can we respond in time? So what do organizations actually need in 2026? It's another one pool in chat. I would love you participate and please let's think, and I would love to know what is your biggest gap today. Is the number one, please put the number in our chat. Is it visibility or behavior or identity, evidence or response? Because this is the top pains, and we would love to know which is the biggest gap on your side, in your
visibility. I assume it's visibility.
Yeah, that's great. Keep that in mind. And now we go through the framework and examples. So here you can see a 5-part model for insider risk. So first, before we just choose, it's visibility. Actions in sequence, not isolated events. So here we exactly see what happened. Next one is behavior and anomalies before incident. We see what is exactly changed. Next one is identity, confidence. It is the right person, not only valid credentials. We have to verify, we have to double check, we have to make sure. Next one is evidence, defensible record for investigation and compliance. This is kind of proof for investigation. And the last one is response. It's ability to act, because a lot of DLP solutions, they just send alarms, but we don't know what to do. So this is exactly the step how to act while risk is developing. This is the shift from events to context. Now I'll show you how this looks in 3 scenarios. I would love to discuss the real stories, and I would love to demonstrate to you how we prevent data leaks in the different segments. Someone, would you love to add something?
Yeah. So yeah, with these industry examples, healthcare and life sciences. Before we move on to the industry examples, I would like to bring Fahad back to the conversation. And Mr. Fahad, from your experience working with organizations in Pakistan, do these 5 areas which Kate has just shared represent the same challenges we have seen locally? What is your perception?
So absolutely, Saman,
Hmm.
whether we speak about banks, telecoms, or healthcare providers, or even basically government organizations or large enterprises, we find most organizations already possess tools and utilities to record basically data movement or security controls, basically, in fact.
Okay.
But they lack what they lack is connecting the dots. As Kate was
Okay.
mentioning, basically we need to understand the behavior of every you see every action that the users do. No, we at the moment that is lacking basically with the tools that are available, and this is something that's becoming necessary as well. So let's say basically what we struggle to answer is. If an action was maybe let's say basically a huge file was basically moved from one place to the other place or through an email private email address, so what we fail to answer is this normal or
Okay.
basically was it something that the person was authorized to do or why basically he did it, something like that. These are the questions and scenarios of the behavior that we need to understand before we could say that it was an anomaly uh, or anything.
So I think, Kate, you can start, with the use cases. Thank you.
Yes, I would love to demonstrate how we're working in a real life. So we just prepare a few use cases just to show you how we prevent the data leakage in the place. So first it's a healthcare and life science. So this was an example on a senior researcher. He was preparing to leave, and access is legitimate, but intent changed. So early signals, which our platform, they catch some patterns. It was unusual access to R&D folders. It was repeated copying over time, which doesn't happen before. It was uploads to personal cloud destinations. The question is why. So traditional DLP may catch this file like final upload. Yes, so we know it, but it may be late. And what works here is correlation, attribution, and evidence. It's not just one block rule. You see, so here's the differentiation. Let's jump into the next explanation about still about this case. In this scenario, the win condition is simple. We have to connect actions into the story, attribute the person behind the workstation, and keep evidence. And actually, that is how you protect IP, reduce legal exposure, and act before the data is gone. Let's jump into the second case. This case is belongs to fintech. And actually, what has happened most often, it's mostly about credentials. And valid credentials don't always mean a trusted session. Sessions can be compromised easily. It could be stolen credentials. It could be shared access to your colleagues, for example, or any coercion. And early signals appears as a typical access patterns. And because our system is able to recognize the face, we're running biometric authentication. We double check who is working on workstation. And even we're able even to recognize if it's unknown face or it's a colleagues working on not his machine. And all these anomalies is working time and tools and behavior like diversion from baseline. DLP may see all of actions, and because the account is authorized and still miss the risk. So the question becomes, how do you trust the session, not just the password? So here we have to double check, and here we have to know. So in fintech, activity may be technically allowed. So the key is identity assurance and behavior correlation, plus evidence and response. This is where insider's risk moves beyond classic DLP rules. Let's consider one more use cases, which is belong to defense. Was highlight. It's absolutely strict audit and very strict requirements. And I just wanted to demonstrate you in this case how we're working. Like access rights can be valid, but abnormal volume and timing can indicate misuse. And often the environment is restricted like on-prem or like sometimes offline or indicate misuse. The requirements are strict, and so we have to provide a strong audit, strong identity and evidence, because the cost of delay, especially in this area, I wouldn't say like the rest segments, it doesn't significantly all, but the point like, so here the cost of delay could be not only commercial, and across the sectors the pattern repeats everywhere. And what is the key inside? What is the key? So you see, and actually the patterns is consistent across all these cases. First of all, it's legitimate access, come first. And next step, it's a risk develops as slow drift. Behavior changes before a transfer event appears. We are able to recognize and alarm. And DLP often flags late. They already send the notification when it's done. So context, behavior, identity, evidence, response decides outcome. What I would love to do now, I would love to, if I may, to give you some advice. I would love to share some practical steps.
Yes, that would be great, because we really want you to share the practical implications of this solution.
Before we go there, I think it's worth mentioning how because the product DLP products normally basically gather a lot of information of the employees as well, or the users as well, who are being monitored. So how Scope basically helps to protect that information from any other protect that information, and why basically it's safe to keep the information there as well. So how Scope is protecting that information? Please do mention that. Yeah. Go ahead.
We just need to create different scenarios, because it depends on what situation. First of all, we mark.
Let's say basically, let's discuss about the defense industry. The information, ideally, basically, any defense organization does not want that their information is on a third-party tool. How Scope ensures that? Can it work in an air-gapped environment so that no one could access that information as well?
So first of all, I would say that's very painful and very important. It would be the ownership, because I'm definitely sure that it's the key. It's to still keep all the information during the country and inside the inside the country and inside the company. So we are, as a vendor, we have zero access to information which is our system, our platform collecting. This is very important point because we are on-prem solution. So our customers has access to their data. It's overall, it's about more functionality. But if we will consider the functions, we have a lot of features. For example, we can make some restriction to print the confidential documents. We're able to block the screen. We're able to block the sending these files. Also, additionally, we put watermarks on confidential documents. And in any case, if any employees trying to do something with this confidential or sensitive document, we will provide already evidence what exactly this employee this time he was trying to do something with this confidential document, and we will put watermarks. We will create a risk case. We will send alarm. We will block the system. Additionally, separately, we provide the instruments how to act in case if some risk appears. We have implemented screens, and the administrator can act when he's out of office, because it's also very, very important to act fast, and doesn't matter at what time. And it's all about the protection. And so if you can help me with any cases, I can tell you in the way how we protect the confidential information in these segments. But actually, it's working for it's common. It's file sending, it's biometric authentication. This is very important. We have implemented AI, and we, even if the camera was blocked, if the screen was covered, we are running invisible authentication. This is very important because before we were talking about the credentials, which could be stolen very easy. So we are just providing the these biometric functions, which is even if it's not camera, we are learning about the keyboard handwriting. AI knows already who is working on machine, even if he is not able to see the user on the screen. And the most important, I would like to mention, because it's also popular way of data leaks, this is preventing of a photograph of screen, because as we discussed, DLP tools, they're just protect from the sending files. But if you're already able to see this confidential document, we have to think deeper. And in this case, we have to know how to protect the screen. So we provide this function, and you will not be able to make screenshot of these documents from the screen.
Okay. And this, thank you so much. Thank you, Kate. Mr. Fahad, would you like to have, would you like
No,
to
I think the
add
best features that Kate highlighted were basically that the ownership is of the customer. Basically, they control all the data that's generated or basically collected in scope. There is nothing is being accessed basically outside. This would work. The product can work basically completely in an air-gapped environment as well. Plus, basically features like that, the product does not go only basically protects against digital thefts. It also protects against physical attempts of taking a feature that basically Kate just mentioned, that you even if a user basically tries to take the screenshot of this is a very common question that we get from our customers as well. What if a customer basically wants to take a screenshot of the screen itself, or and the picture of the screen itself? So the scope product has the capability to block that as well by enabling the option of locking the screen in case someone tries to take an image of the screen. This is a very common theft, basically.
I believe, and this is, I believe, a very exclusive feature. Not many DLPs available with many companies in the market. I think they don't cater this concern.
Yeah. Because the theft happens, basically it involves digital plus some physical activity as well. And this is the definition of how basically Scope steps out of its digital domain to physical domain to understand the behavior of the user and blocking that behavior as well.
And I didn't mention, but I think maybe later we will get the questions. It's all about the evidence. It's also during the audit, during the investigation.
Yes, we will have.
Yeah, I believe we will talk a little bit later about that.
We will have the questions. So I think
just to give an idea, basically the evidence is really important as well. Yeah, once an incident happens, we need to understand what happened and we need to prove it as well. It's the same real world problem, proven until guilty, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
let's come back to the presentation.
Yes, please, Kate.
And we will provide some advice what you can do from the next week. And actually, one, I would recommend it to identify your top 3 repositories, which is for you consider as the most sensitive and more confidential, how you're going to protect these repositories. The second one is define what abnormal access looks like for you as a system administrator or IT director. So it's actually even for HODs, doesn't matter which position. So the point is to understand this access we provide. 3 is decide how you will prove attribution. And the last one, define who owns response and evidence. So this turns insider threat into an operational process.
Okay.
And actually, so now I'm ready to jump into the questions. And if you have questions, please use the chat. We will answer live. And the takeaway of our presentation is simple. The traditional DLP is still necessary, but in 2026, it's no longer sufficient by itself. And yeah, all my 5 points I mentioned today, this is inside the risk, requires context, visibility, behavior, identity, evidence, and response. I would be happy to answer for the questions from our guests, and maybe we can discuss also some points.
So Chris is asking that Scope can be installed on-prem, or does it need a separate server?
It's so we have some requirements for server, and our customers choose which server they're going to use. If they have their physical server or in cloud, yes, it's on-prem solution which is installed on the place in the company, correct?
Okay.
And the requirements for the volume of space what you have, you will find in our website. We have implemented calculator, and you feel free to use just to put the numbers of machine you're planning to install, and you will get approximately the numbers, so how much space you need for storage.
Okay. So yeah, we have a few questions. I believe. Yeah, I'm looking for the questions. Yeah. So if a company already has DLP in place, what is usually the biggest missing piece?
It's a fair question,
Kate,
yes, because
I would love to hear from you on this.
yes, no problem, of course. So the point is not to replace DLP if you already have. The point is to close the gap around it, which we discussed during today's session. Scope to close the gaps where the others blind. Let me bring some like maybe 5 points, which is the differentiation from the classic DLP. So first, it's from files to people. Because classic DLP, as you understand, so looks at files, and we look at the person behind the file. Second, it's from alerts to context. Also, we know, like the DLP solution, instead of like sending thousands copy alarms, we give you one story: who, when, and why. The next is closing the visual gap. As we discussed, it's also very sensitive. We see what happens on the screen, the camera gap. So where DLP is blind. If the confidential document is open, it's already risk. So the next one is behavior, not just rules. We detect unusual drift and in behavior before the data even moves. So we analyze the behavior and we predict the risk which may appear on the point. And the last, I believe it's ready for HR and legal, and we also discuss this point. We provide the evidence you can actually use even in court or just for HR meeting or HOD's analysis. So it's not just a technical log. This is the difference. So that's why I believe I answered. So if you have on a place the DLP solution.
Yes, I think it's very well answered. Yeah. So we have another interesting answer, and probably it is for Mr. Fahad, that what would you recommend as a first practical step for organizations in Pakistan that insider risk visibility?
So I would suggest focusing on 4 areas mainly. One is to first is to the identification part, identify the sensitive information. Okay.
Mm.
The second is basically establishing what's normal. Okay, what is normal access, what can be accessed, and how it can be accessed. The SOPs, everything. The establishment of what's the normal. Okay. And the third is basically action ownerships. Basically, the people who the people who are going to be accessing this information, they need to understand that what actions they could perform, and we need to basically link. You can say the action itself, not to accounts. Normally, what happens is that if there is a particular account, the action was performed through this account, but we should be able to have a way to link the action to the person actually operating that account. Okay.
Yes.
The action ownership, the third step that I would say is that's the point. And the fourth is the response itself. Okay. The response, what needs to be done when an incident happens? We need to identify these 4 things, and then basically we place these are the 4 things that practically that we can do, identify these things, and the tools that are available to perform these actions, they come later.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I think the first thing that one more thing that I would like to add is that I think one thing that everyone needs to understand is the faster that you understand the context of a particular action, the quickly the faster you basically can respond as well. So if you do not understand people these what's normal and what is not normal, now basically you won't be able to respond it timely as well. So that is one more thing that people need to understand.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So the next question is for Kate, that how it is basically related to the screenshots that we were discussing during the webinar, that how do you think about screenshot leaks or photo leaks, since classic DLP often does not catch them well?
So I have prepared a very short video.
Kate has a video to show. Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
it's just a 6 second, but this is exactly, I just happy that it's too short and you're able to see how fast and easy you can make a picture from the screen during the working hours. Yes, and we provide these functions which we call stop photo, and this is exactly one of the reasons traditional DLP alone it's not longer enough. If sensitive data is displayed on the screen, this is risk. It's not longer only the file transfer. It's so easy, as you see. Just put the camera on the screen and you already stole the confidential information. Now it's all the visibility and evidence challenge as well. So we provide the anti-stop photo features, which is block the screen straight on the point when our system will recognize the smartphone next to the screen. And as well as we will make a screenshot and picture of this employee who was tried to do it, and we're putting watermarks on this document which is supposed to be stolen. We inform the responsible person about these attempts. So we have a lot of actions for all one is attempts. And this is how we protect the information, company's information from the personal mobiles, because it's nowadays it's most popular way of data leaks actually. So I believe this is we in very short videos we demonstrated.
Yes, I'm surprised.
How is it?
That was quick.
What could happen? Yes.
Yes. This is amazing, by the way. And we have one more question, and it is that for regulated or sensitive environments, how important is on-premise deployment today? And probably it is for Kate.
Excuse me, could you please repeat the question?
Yes, for regulated or sensitive environments, how important is on-premise deployment today?
Oh, this is actually, I believe it's a critical because we mentioned also about the ownership, and for the and we are a global vendor and working with the different countries, and we definitely 100% sure like all the regulations and laws require that sensitive data must remain inside the country and under the company's full control. So now being on-prem doesn't mean it's complicated. We still can deploy in one day on your existing hardware and stay into your perimeter. And as we discussed, with 100% ownership, customer ownership, and no vendor access. So we have zero access to the data. This is, I think, it's a requirement for trust. On-prem.
Understood. Understood. Thank you. Thank you. And we have one more question that in insider incidents, what matters more, blocking the action or having evidence for investigation? I think Mr. Fahad can answer it, based on your past experience.
You're asking basically if blocking the action important or having the evidence
for investigation.
I think both are as important as it gets. Basically, you need to block the information from getting out, and if such an incident happens, you need to have a case to build upon it, because once an insider threat incident becomes a reality, basically there's going to be cross-functional involvement of all the departments. The HR is going to be involved, the legals are going to be involved, the compliance is going to be involved, and you need to have the evidence to prove that there was an attempt to take information out of the organization. How are you going to prove it if you don't have the evidence?
Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Fahad, this is my question. If you had to leave the audience with one takeaway, what would it be?
One takeaway is that insider threat is a reality. Most of the information that's leaked out of the organizations is generally through insider threats, and it's based on the current situation where the information that the organization holds is critical, and it has value basically outside as well. So based on this, it's utmost important that the organizational information that we need to basically protect ourselves from this threat. Being as a technology leader, this is one of the most challenging use case of cybersecurity, where we need to protect the people who have the key, protect the information from the people who actually have the keys to the information. Okay, and there could be some negligence, basically as discussed earlier in the session as well. There could be in scenarios where this could be negligent, because not everyone is aware of the cyber threats or the concerns of leaking a certain information. They do not everyone understands that. There could be certain negligence, and we need to make sure that negligence could be controlled and people do not accidentally even leak out basically important information as well.
Okay.
So that's the key takeaway.
Understood. Thank you
from my side
for the detailed answer. And I have one question for Kate as well. That in your experience, why is context becoming more important than individual security events when investigating insider threats? Please share your perception.
So I believe the context is actually, it's everything. It gives you a chain of evidence, and for any department, for security, for HR, for legal, as I mentioned, even for the court, to act with confidence. I can tell you a few cases, just for example, where we catch the by context and how we act. So I just can tell you some case scenarios, for example. So just connect to scoped features, and so. First, it's kind of like late night download. So our platform realized and catch it was a valid login copies to entire project folder at 2 a.m. So the question is why? Scoped correlate session, the timing when it happened, the geolocation when it's where it's happened, and actually it's just consider it as an anomaly. Another one, the example, it's kind of a screenshot leak. Sensitive dashboard appears in WhatsApp photo. Also, we know how many personal accounts of messengers our employee using by sending the confidential information. We had plenty of cases when it happened, and we also able to block these attempts to send any documents via any messengers. That's One more example, it was a shared account. So someone used the same credentials in different places. As I mentioned, we are running invisible re-authentication. The system following the zero trust policy, any second verify the user who is next to the screen. And our biometric re-authentication attribute actions, it's for a real user. One more example, I believe it's I think it's scoring links repeated, so it's just like micro events, because sometimes for someone they're sending a huge massive files, it's a risk, but we consider also micro events. We are just trying to understand, because somebody is trying to send a step-by-step any confidential document, not to look suspicious, so it doesn't work the using scope. We will analyze any action which was made by user, any program which was made by user, and also with additional restriction.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Fahad and Ms. Kate, for answering my questions. And I think we are left with 4 minutes, and I can take a short question for Kate. Let me just. We have, by the way, a number of questions are coming in, and so someone has asked that does Scope integrate with Active Directory, and
yes, I would say
yeah,
yes.
By analyzing login behavior and file access patterns or application usage. If you could just answer it shortly.
Yes, 4 times yes. And using which belong to the first question. This is the beauty of solution. Using the Active Directory, you will be able to run a pilot during one day, because we also know some pilots, some POCs for implementation of the solution takes a month. So in this case, to use it using these features, you will be able to run installation and pilot in a days. And about the protection, could you please repeat file sending? What else it was written in chat?
It was, let me just open it
Just
and
for double checking and double confirmation. But
there is some internet issue, I believe, because I cannot see the questions now. I don't know why.
It's okay. So, but the point it's yes, we protect this way.
Okay. So we are just 3 minutes away from the webinar ending, and I think on this note, let's try to summarize it, and let's try to conclude it. And thank you so much, Kate, and thank you so much, Mr. Fahad. I know that you are a busy guy in the organization. He's always busy taking partners and having
problems.
meetings.
I think let's put it that way.
And I believe the same for Kate as well. And today's discussion highlighted a very important message, which I could understand, that traditional DLP remains an essential part of the cybersecurity. And however, I believe that modern insider threats require more than monitoring than transfers. So for this, I believe that organizations need visibility, they need behavior analysis, and they need evidence, and they need response capabilities and identity assurance. So working together, Cymex and Scope really, aim and hope to help organizations in Georgia and in Pakistan address these challenges with a more complete and more detailed approach to insider risk management. And we will now move into the ending part. And Mr. Fahad and Ms. Kate, please share your ending note and whatever you have to say.
I just would love to thank you so much. I really appreciate and I'm grateful for this event that's made place and it's happened. And of course, I wish us all together a big success in our partnership. And let's make our not only one country, our world more safe with our solution and provide our services for them. It was pleasure to participate today.
Yes.
And thank you so much for the questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the amazing answers. It was very much, researched and very much clear and simple that even I could understand.
I think today was a good session, and we tried to basically bring awareness regarding a threat that is not there. And I hope that basically everyone understands that the insider threats are a real thing and it happens to the best of us, to the best of the organizations. And
Yes,
thank
to
you,
the
Kate,
best
for
of organization, and we have
for
seen
the
it in
detail.
Pakistan.
Basically, yeah, it's all over the world, basically. Not only in Pakistan,
Yes,
it's all over the world.
yes,
Anyone
yes.
could be basically, yeah. So I think that I think I hope that we succeeded in explaining everyone that
Yes,
regarding
I
the
believe
threat and
so.
everything.
I
And
believe
thank
so.
you, Kate, for presenting the product and the solution to it as well.
Yes.
We presented the problem and the solution with it as well. So
Thank
that
you for
was one of the package.
opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Saman, as well,
Thank you,
for a
thank you.
wonderful session.
And once again, thank you so much, Kate and Mr. Fahad, and to our wonderful audience for making this session engaging, making this session a success. Because Kate, we still have many questions, and we have no time. But yes, thank you so much. I think we can plan for another webinar answer these questions. So thank you so much for the engagement. Thank you so much for participating. And I believe that we plan the other webinar soon. Thank you so much, everyone. That's all from my side, and I'm signing off and wishing you all a lively and happy weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
too.
Thank you, Mr. Fahad, and thank you, Kate. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.